Encouraging, empowering, inspiring each other on this journey of faith. United in purpose, sisters in love we are. Women were leaders.
Hello and welcome to Celebrating God's Grace. This is Lisa Hathaway with Women World Leaders, and I'm so excited today to talk to you about a topic that has been something that I have worked on personally in my life and continue to do. I'm in graduate school for clinical and mental health counseling, and I'm counseling clients now, and it's something that comes up often in sessions, but it's also such a powerful thing personally for me that I've had to work through. And that is the subject of boundaries, or you can call them guardrails. And so I like to talk about guardrails and how important those are in our lives. Webster's dictionary classifies guardrails as a railing guarding, usually against danger, or a barrier placed along the edge of a highway at dangerous points. So you think about a guardrail, and I'm very visual, so I'm thinking about driving down the highway, and these guardrails are keeping you from going off the cliff or going into a median or whatever the case may be, but the guardrails are there and used in our life as protection. Just the same as we have boundaries, and you hear the word boundaries a lot these days, but it's so important. And one thing that I've really learned is that it is not selfish to place boundaries on your life. It's not selfish to say no. And, I have three kids, three teenagers, and one is my daughter's a senior in high school, getting ready to go to college. And we talk a lot about placing boundaries on things that are not life-giving to us and things that drain us. It's not healthy. God doesn't want us to be drained when we have things we have to do. Of course, there's things that are stressful to us or things that take a lot of energy, but as long as they're not draining to us, God wants us to do things with excellence and to do things with joy and with the gifts that He has given us, and He wants us to be a light to others. That's part of being part of the kingdom. And a couple of subjects that I want to talk about as far as guardrails go is emotional and mental guardrails, along with relational guardrails. So relational guardrails is, what I talked about. It's okay to say no. If the person is harmful or toxic, or the relationship you're in, it's okay to say that you need to be out of that relationship. It doesn't mean that you can't love that person. It doesn't mean that you can't be kind to that person, but it doesn't mean they have to be your best friend. And so I've experienced that in my life. I've had to literally walk away, which is so hard for me, walk away from people that are not life-giving to me and that are toxic, or there's been betrayal, or whatever the case may be. It's super important that we surround ourselves with people that spur us on spiritually and emotionally. And also, we are to seek wise counsel and to be involved with people that allow us and challenge us for our walk with the Lord. And that's a big thing. We want to be able to have hard conversations with people, our friends. Of course we do. We don't want to dwell in conflict or if there's unforgiveness. But when you have hard conversations, it's important that you're able to walk away from that knowing that you did it in love and you did it the way God wanted you to do it. Emotional and mental guardrails, these are what we think, what we feel, what we read, what we watch. This is very impactful in our lives, especially with social media and all the things that we consume our lives with on the daily basis. This is impactful so much on our soul. You can have the comparison trap, or you hear all these things on social media. You're comparing yourself to someone else, or they have things that you don't have that you wish you have, and this is spiral. I don't know if some of y'all have dealt with that before, but I try to alleviate those on social media and just follow people that really make me ponder on things and allow me to look introspectively in my life of how I can be better. And so I think it's super important as far as the emotional mental health. They have such an impact on our lives if we don't put up appropriate boundaries or guardrails to what we need to be doing. Also, we can have some spiritual guardrails, and this is something that, it's so time consuming, or we think it is. I'm at fault myself that I get so busy, but I'm having to purposely carve out time in my life to make sure that I fill myself with the word, the worship, all that, because so much in your day does not go as according as to plan or as according as it should if you aren't laying the foundation of Jesus. And those are just powerful. But we can use that as an excuse, like, oh, God's always going to be there. But we are to study and pray and worship and fast if you feel like you're called to fast, and have the spiritual disciplines in our life, because it's knowing that God is a God of forgiveness and new beginnings. And so he wants us to be in close communion with him. So we set up a healthy boundary and guardrail to put him first as a priority in all we do. Proverbs 4:20-23. I love this verse. It says, "My child, pay attention to what I say. Listen carefully to my words. Don't lose sight of them. Let them penetrate deep into your heart, for they bring life to those who find them and healing to their whole body. Guard your heart above all else, for it determines the course of your life." And this is found in the New Living Translation. Of course, there's different translations, but this one's powerful. It says, let them penetrate. Let his words penetrate deep into your heart. That is like going to the depths of your heart, that they bring life to those who find them, that our words are to bring life to others, that we are to speak and to have people in our life that bring life to us. And so I just want to challenge you as you ponder on boundaries, guardrails, and there's so much research on boundaries. There's so many articles and all the things that you can look up on boundaries and guardrails. But I think that one thing I have learned is that God has called me to protect my heart, and that's not selfish. And in order to do that, I am able to pour out in such a greater way to others and to love on others because my soul and my heart is healthy. And I have been years ago, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I've been very depleted, and my boundaries were super weak, and it affected everything around me. So I can sit here today and talk about how healthy boundaries are so incredibly important, and it brings wholeness and healing to our lives when we practice them. And so I just want to encourage you to look at your life and look at the areas where you can possibly focus on putting up more boundaries, relational guardrails, emotional and mental guardrails, and even spiritual guardrails, because God wants us to be the best version of ourselves. He created us with such beautiful gifts and wants us to be able to love on others and be kingdom-minded. And in doing that, we have to be healthy in our own soul. So thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Women World Leaders Podcast. Join us each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday as we explore together God's extravagant love and your courageous purpose. Visit our website at www.womenworldleaders.com to submit a prayer request, register for an upcoming event, and support the ministry. From His heart to yours, we are Women World Leaders. All content is copyrighted by Women World Leaders and cannot be used without express written consent.